The tag team tournament rolls on, and Darby Allin takes on Chris Jericho for the AEW Heavyweight Championship of the World in episode 3 of Wednesday Night Dynamite. Buckle up, AfterBuzzers. It's going to be a good one.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming to you live from the world-famous AfterBuzz TV studios in Los Angeles, California. And if we got a show for you, we've got news, we've got a lead of the week, and of course, we have all the shenanigans from this week's episode. But before we get started, let me go ahead and introduce the amazing panel. First up, to the far, far left, he is our wrestling professor, the guy who's been watching it his whole life, the guy who follows Japan and Mexico, Canada, everywhere here in the US of A. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Roger Corral.
Thank you. Oh, you forgot Australia as well.
Australia as well. Aussie. Oi,
Put some respect on his name.
Yes. And to the other left, our correspondent, our commentator, the sports reporter, the entertainment reporter, our anchor in the news department. Let's hear it for Jessica O'Connor.
I think you should start using your wrestling commentator voice for these intros. That sounded a little flat. I wanted Jessica O'Connor.
Jessica O'Connor.
I like that better. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, thank you.
Now your turn.
And now, well, before we get to me, I want to go ahead and shout out in the booth our Kempo karate kicking, our jiu-jitsu submitting, and our 3-time heavyweight grappler champ himself. Let's hear it for Josh in the booth.
Hey,
Josh in the
what's going on,
booth.
guys? What's up? Thank you for the introduction, Jack. Oh my goodness.
Yes, and finally, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this. I'm going to go ahead and try it. I'm Jack Farmer. I'm your captain of the ship
Jack
today.
Farmer.
I am super excited to be here. This is a cracking episode. Let's not hold off anymore. Let's dive right in. First up, Roger, what'd you think overall?
Overall, another great week. I can't get enough of this. I think 2 hours is the exact amount of time. I'm in awe. I love this.
Yeah, Jessica, you?
Tag teams are so fun. I loved that we got to see more of the tag teams. I had a really good time.
Whoop, there it is. Tag team back again. I loved it too. There were so many fun matches, so many fun people. I think I said 3 times throughout tonight, match of the night, and I kept getting proven wrong. It was such a fun show. Speaking of tag teams, we're going to take things off with what I thought was kind of the biggest tag team match of the night, and that was the explosive combination of Pac, of Moxley, of Omega, and of the Hangman Adam Page. All sorts of stuff going on with this one, and it really, I just felt like it delivered. Jessica, watching this match, what were your thoughts overall with these 4 combustible elements?
Wow, there's so much. Definitely Kenny Omega came out and the crowd lost it. And it was actually his birthday as well. So I don't know if you heard. There was a little happy birthday. So that was fun.
Fellow Libra.
Yeah. There we go.
Fellow
Libra.
It's Libra season.
It's Libra
fellow
Libra.
Read up on your star sign.
I was thinking like Lucha Libre. I was like, is this a thing? What's
Fellow Libra.
He was just exuding Libra energy.
I got excited.
Yeah. We're off the rails already. So of course, like so much stuff happened. The match itself was great. To me, I thought this is 4 of potentially next world title contenders all in the ring at once. Roger, where do you think everyone stands right now after this big match?
That was my thought process. The minute that match started, I was like, in a year from now, these are the 4 guys that are going to be leading the company. Like, this exuded main event. Like, it was amazing. I think right off the bat, you could tell that these guys know how to carry a match. And legitimately, you could have this match every week, and the crowd could they could go home happy.
Absolutely. And you thought, absolutely, that one's going out to Portugal, Hugo. Inside, if you're in the comments, you get that joke. But as we said, we had these 4 big stars. Jessica, who looked like the biggest star of the bunch to you? Just watching who stood out above everyone else. Win, lose, or draw.
Definitely Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega. If I had to pick one from each side, those were my 2 standouts.
So then you must be really excited about their match coming up at Full Gear.
Heck yeah, I am.
I love this.
I'm going. I'm going to be in the audience. I'm leaving you guys here. Bye.
She's ready.
You're reporting live from Full Gear.
You never know.
I thought this match did such a good job of building up that next match, but also giving it a little bit of flair of stuff to come. Something I really liked is how you could tell Moxley and Pac weren't going to get along the whole time. But then, of course, the weapons came out. Super fun. I love the broom with the barbed wire as a little tip.
Which we found out was actual real barbed wire because Pac started bleeding.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's pretty intense.
He was bleeding pretty good,
also, that's starting to become his weapon. Like, who carries that around?
I always think there must be some poor PA in the back that's like, wait, I have to do what?
I don't get paid enough for this.
What are you working?
Band-Aids all over his hands. Poor guy. And then they don't even use it. They're just like, right.
That's so true.
So I thought it was a really cool psychology thing with how it looked like they were going to fight with the weapons, but Pac comes in, breaks it up, saying, I don't want to get DQ'd. And, of course, Moxley does not care.
That is so Pac. That's good. Yeah. It reflects her character so well.
Both of them. And the way Moxley just, fine, took him out. Very Stone Cold-esque of him to double finger salute. And the... is it the Death Rider? The paradigm shift?
Okay, I read today it's a paradigm shift. I don't know anymore.
Ask the chat.
I think in New Japan it's known as a Death Rider, and it's known as in AEW as a paradigm shift.
So paradigm shift it is.
The paradigm shift it is. So so this clearly builds up more for Omega. It builds more up for Moxley. Are we going to see more of Hangman and Pac going at it, or is this kind of the end of that road for them for now? Or do you think that's going to be maybe their Full Gear match?
Keep it going. Honestly, I'm happy. The minute that their music hits, the minute they're in the ring, these guys are great. Yeah, let's keep those feuds going. I did have one minor complaint. I feel like this is my first complaint about... I know.
This is the first complaint of the show.
It's my first complaint.
Mark it down, folks. Roger hates the show.
No, I do. Slightly disliked something.
Yeah?
Let's hear it.
I don't think Moxley and Kenny Omega should have wrestled each other until Full Gear. I feel like they've been holding out for so long, and then randomly we get them in they wrestled for 10 minutes in the middle of the ring. Granted, it's attacked. I get it. I get the logic. I don't know if I agree with that, and I think it takes a bit of the mystique that I was waiting for to see at Full Gear.
Do you think it was because they were supposed to have a match before, but it got delayed, and now they're just like, look, we got to do something because it's been too long?
It has been too long. I get the logic. I completely get it.
Or do you think it's them going, we got to beat NXT? That's right. I'll say NXT.
Oh.
That's right. I don't care. I'm in the inner circle. I do what I want. Do you think maybe they're just like, hey, we got to come out guns blazing every week?
That's a very valid point. You're right, because it didn't feel... Again, it's something that they've been building towards, but every week I feel like their matches feel like main event pay-per-view matches.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, again, I don't mind it, and I haven't been disappointed in the company so far. So, it was just a minor complaint, and I wanted to throw it out there.
Well, I think that's fair. Next week, though, speaking of big matches, main events, guns blazing, they've already teased that we're going to get Moxley versus Pac, one-on-one. Jessica, who's winning this thing?
Ooh, I feel like, Pac has the record, so he has that on his side, but Moxley's just so scary.
He is scary. Oh,
he's a scary dude. They're both scary, you're right.
Marco Stunt's the only one that doesn't intimidate me on the AEW.
Well, I think Moxley's definitely... It would be cool to see him fall because he came in so confident. He was saying, I don't even need Pac's help. I'm at the top of the food chain. I don't even need it. So it would be kind of cool just to see him eat his words,
Did you like his promo before the match? Because we've seen MJF, we've seen a few others. How did Moxley stack up for you?
It was a little flat.
A little flat.
Like, he was confident, but it was just a little, I don't know if I believed it. He was like, I'm the toughest. It's like, show me. Like, I need I want to see, like, the fear in your eyes. Like, who was it last week? I'm blanking on his name. No, the Marilyn Manson lookalike.
Oh, Jimmy Havoc.
He sold it. He really sold that promo. You're buying
Jimmy Havoc.
He was like, I've been struggling for 16 years. Like, I didn't get that passion with Jon Moxley.
Interesting. Maybe it's because he has that carefree, like...
Could be.
Jon Moxley.
I was going to say, I don't even know if Jon Moxley cares to win a match.
I think he just wants to cause damage.
Maybe he doesn't even care,
He just wants to hurt people, which is great because that's what wrestling is for hurting people. I think
he chose the right career path.
Now, Roger, this match, is there going to be implications? I mean, Moxley kind of has to win, right? Because he's going into a big match where we don't know what Pac's match is at Full Gear yet.
That's a fair point. But again, I don't know if Moxley cares. He should. I mean, he has a big match coming up. His record isn't looking too pretty. So, I think he should care. He should step up his game a bit and try to get a few victories. I don't know if he will. Whereas, like, I feel like I just don't know if he'll apply himself. It seems like ever since he debuted, he just wants to attack Kenny Omega, and that's his main purpose in life. He doesn't care about anything else.
He wakes up every morning... Kenny Omega.
He showers like Kenny Omega.
It sounds like a coffee commercial. Well, Kenny Omega in your cup. Lots of interesting stuff going there with Moxley. But speaking of that, I want to go ahead and pass it on over. It is now time for Jessica O'Connor to go ahead and tell you guys where you can see us next week after that big match.
Well, we just have to thank you guys so much for tuning in every week. We appreciate you all so much. You're what keeps us going. But in order to keep AfterBuzz as amazing as it is, we need you guys to like, subscribe, engage in the comments, follow us on Instagram, just whatever you can. We so appreciate it. And you'll keep us here every week.
Yeah, and I do love interacting with all the people in the comments. I know we all like to get on Twitter and Instagram and all that good stuff. And I also want to let everyone know that we just started a Facebook, a Twitter, and an Instagram page for you all. So all you have to do is go ahead and hit up AEW AfterBuzz across all social media, and you can go ahead and interact with us there. So if you want to have questions, if you have comments, if you have criticisms, well, maybe not the criticism. The other two, feel free to put those in there. We'd love to get back to you guys. Shout out to Forever Young last week in the comments section of the YouTube had said, I like this panel. Good after show.
We like you too.
I picked the good one, of course. So thank you to you. We also got an awesome, great review from External Shockwave on our iTunes. Super appreciated. Those 5-star reviews do mean the world to us. So if you do have a moment, hit them up. Leave a review. Leave a 5-star review. And that may get read as well. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't have it pulled up. Next week, though, I'm going to read it for you. I like to pull back the curtain. I like to be transparent. I'll read it next week. It's going to be great.
Breaking the fourth wall.
Very professional show here. Speaking of professional, that takes us to the real meat and potatoes of this week's episode, and that was the tag team title tournament. We start off with it. The Matt Militant in the building. Teddy Longo,
holla, holla.
Elite. Holla, holla, playa. A couple guys who were not professional were the Lucha Brothers, who come out and attack SCU. It was going to be Christopher Daniels and Kazarian going against the Best Friends, but Lucha Bros come out, attack them, take out Christopher Daniels. And I love how they sold this with like the Young Bucks coming out as well and made it really feel like a serious situation. And I thought that was cool. Roger, though, do you think that maybe AEW tipped their hand a little bit about what the finals are going to be with this by them attacking SCU, who are on the other side of the bracket?
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, yeah.
Great analysis.
I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, too.
I'll elaborate a bit. I think the Lucha Bros know that this is their defining moment if they are able to capture the tag team titles. You know, they came in with the AAA tag team titles. Not a lot of people even know what that promotion is. Yeah. So for them to capture this, they have to go above and beyond. And sometimes that means doing stuff outside of the ring. And that means beating the crap out of these guys. So you got to do what you got to do. They went out there, they took care of business, and now you have a tag team that's a little bit hurt moving forward.
I've never been more intimidated by you than when you were just like, you do what you got to do, Jack.
You know?
They did what needed to be done.
My favorite bit in this whole thing was, so Scorpio Sky comes out and is a total rock star. He was the star of this match, I thought. But Chuck Taylor takes his shoe off and bites his foot. And then later on, I love how Scorpio Sky takes his other shoe off and throws it, and then someone throws it back into the ring.
Yeah.
That's good.
It was such a fun moment. Scorpio Sky, I think he was the hero. Something I think about him is I think he's going to be a bigger star than SCU. I think he's going to grow beyond this. Jessica, what did you think about Scorpio Sky in this match?
Well, first of all, he was going through most of the match with only one shoe, and that, I mean, there's something to be said about that, just in terms of balance and agility and just overall feel. So I give him props for not only doing the match with one shoe, but doing it well.
Yeah, that's not even a joke. Like, if you run around with one shoe on, it's very disorienting.
It's weird.
I can barely leave the house.
But shoe doesn't feel like a lot of weight on your hand, but you can really feel it when you're trying to run or move it in that way. So
yeah, and he was doing flips and all sorts of things in there. So I have a feeling that I think this time next year he's going to be a single star.
He feels a bit underused as part of SCU, to be honest. That guy's really talented.
Mm-hmm.
He's talented. He's big. He's quick. He sounds good on the mic. His Barack Obama impression was way better than it had to be to pull that off. So I think there are big things for him. Something that happened, though, during this match was the Best Friends did a assisted superplex off the top, right?
Yeah.
And that got a "This is awesome" chant. Roger, you've been critical already. Is that fair? Is that fair to get a "This is awesome" chant for a superplex?
I don't want to become the guy that's always critical, but yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome, but maybe I'm too new. I watched it and I
Roger. Just joking.
This is not good. This is not good.
No, I mean, I actually appreciate the crowd being so hot for it, but come on. I mean, that was a cool move. I wouldn't do it, but come on, crowd. That was I think we need to elevate our expectations for "This is awesome," right?
I think you reserve that for really special moments because then you start to dilute the product, and then everything is awesome. And if everything is awesome, then nothing is awesome.
Right.
Whoa, we're getting deep here.
We're getting next week on Philosophy Podcasts, we have
is everything awesome or is nothing awesome?
So SCU goes through, it adds another asterisk on an otherwise perfect bracket.
Oh, God.
And that leaves the other side of the tournament, which was the Jurassic Express versus the Lucha Brothers. One of the things I like about this, just before we dive into the match, I love that they've been having the tag teams who aren't in the match at ringside. So they had Private Party tonight hanging out at ringside. It makes it feel like they care about the tournament and that they're not just like, oh yeah, I was put in something, that they're there. Private Party also with really cool looking shirts, which you can find at shopaew.com, I'm sure. A little bummed out Luchasaurus wasn't able to be in this. I think he's a fan favorite for a lot of people, but I think Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt did a great job with this match. Luchasaurus is injured, which is a bummer because he's great. Hopefully he gets back quick.
As we know, dinosaurs are a fragile species.
They are.
Does this mean he's extinct?
One meteor and he's done. All it takes is an ice age and he's out.
That's it.
That is it.
But I thought these two, Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt, I thought were so entertaining. Probably the most entertaining duo of the evening.
Yeah, this was my favorite match, for sure.
I love how Marco Stunt is so little, but he makes what he does believable. He doesn't try to, when he punches people, we don't expect them to sell it like it was a big devastating blow, and they don't. But he's still bouncing around and doing all this fun stuff.
I like that he was. I can't do it, but he was flossing
the flossing
in the beginning. That was fun. That was me flossing, guys.
Behind the desk, it's hard to floss.
It's hard to floss, okay?
In front of the Lucha Brothers, it's hard to floss.
Right, in front of the Lucha Brothers, I'd be terrified. So, Roger, chat me up a little bit about them. They didn't go as far as we wanted them to, or as some people wanted them to. But are we going to see more of them? Are we going to see this team as a team for a long time, or?
Yeah, he reminds me a bit of Spike Dudley, who used to come out with the Dudley Boys in ECW later on in WWE. And I feel like I like those type of scrappy wrestlers. James Ellsworth, actually, just a few years ago as well. Because I believe in wrestlers that give you hope. I've said this multiple times.
There's no hope.
Because it gets the crowd invested for that one day that they do win. Everyone's going to go crazy, and it's going to be great. So I do think there's a future for this guy, and I'm excited for him.
What's his ceiling? If you were to say, like, what's the farthest Marco Stunt could go?
Tonight.
I'd like to see him
Tonight is his... Tonight... Round 1 of the tag team tournament. There's your hope, ladies.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, Jessica.
I think he would be really fun against Pac. I don't know why.
You just want to hurt people.
But they're similar in stature, and I feel like that could be somewhat of a fair fight, and it would be fun to watch.
Pac could curl that guy, I think.
I don't know. He's like nimble and quick.
He's fast. He's super fun to watch for sure. As far as we talk about ceiling, though, Jessica, I want to get your opinion on Jungle Boy. What do you see as his ceiling? Do you think he could be a tag team champion? Do you think he could go singles and be good there?
I think Marco was more of the star out of the two. I mean, they're both. I don't know. Maybe it's just because he's so small that. I mean, he's only 5'2". That's teeny. So I don't know. I just was so, I guess, honed in on that and like what he was doing with his size that Jungle Boy. I wasn't as invested in Jungle Boy.
He wasn't able to shine quite as bright.
Yeah.
I like Jungle Boy. I think if he bulked up a bit, he could have an amazing singles career. I think he's a little tiny but I say tiny, he's like shredded in real life.
He's a Jungle Boy.
For the Earth, he's shredded, but for wrestling, if he pumps up a little bit.
For Earth standards.
And then, so Lucha Brothers, we have to obviously get chat about them. They're my favorite tag team right now in the world right now. I felt like they look like they are on a different level than everyone else. The way they dress, their entrance music, their match, the crowd just ate up every single thing they did. Jessica, are they winning this whole thing?
I know you want them to, so I'm going to say no. But I will give you the fact that they have star power, absolutely. They were definitely the most confident tag team. I think they were the most high energy. I think they got the crowd the most hype.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they'll win it all.
When he did this Cero Miedo, am I saying that right?
Say that again, yeah.
I mean, Zero Fear.
Zero Fear?
Yeah.
The crowd was just into it. And I love when he takes his glove off and he threw it at, you didn't know who he was going to throw it at, and he threw it at Jungle Boy. That is this generation's version of the Scott Hall toothpick. That's right. I call him Scott Hall, not Razor Ramon. I'm a WCW guy.
That's why I like him.
For life. Roger, what's your take on these guys? Are they the best team in AEW at this moment?
They are. There was a part in the match where they went to a commercial break, and you know how you could still see the match on the other square.
Yeah.
And they were just destroying their competition. Like, they were just playing around with them. I felt bad for them. I was like, can we just end this? It was bad.
Yeah.
And you could tell that they're just playing around with them. This isn't real competition for them. The Lucha Brothers are world-renowned.
Yeah.
Penta Cero Miedo, he's a former heavyweight champion at Impact Wrestling. Like, these are main eventers throughout the world. So they're ready for a bigger fight.
He was basically the face of Lucha Underground.
He was.
For a large run of it. And yeah, they're my favorites. I think they could win the whole thing. I think they will win the whole thing. I always get that right. Next week, though, we're gonna see some cracking matches because we get the semifinals all done next week. Real quick, Private Party, Lucha Brothers. Jessica, run me through what you think's going to happen with that. We've got the guys from last week flipping around everywhere. We've got the winning team, Lucha Brothers.
Like you said, they're going to be flipping all over the place. It's going to be high energy. And I don't know. I feel like maybe there's going to be some surprises. if we're going at the rate of your bracket, I'm going to say don't trust a word he says.
That's a good point. It's a very valid point.
So I'm going to say Private Party. Why the heck not?
Private Party. Is that
and then maybe if I'm wrong, you can roast me for a second.
Right. Private Party.
How the tables will turn.
So we got Private Party. Roger, what about SCU versus the Dark Order?
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I think SCU annoys me. Like, I'm coming in hot today.
Ooh. Okay.
Their theme music.
Heel Roger.
Their theme music is just them yelling SCU in your face. Like, shut up. Like,
Shut up.
Like, I don't want to hear it. Just go in there and wrestle. Dark Order, I feel like they haven't had enough competition, to be honest. Mm-hmm. I think the best side of the bracket is on the left side. So I think Lucha Brothers or Private Party has taken this one.
Lucha Brothers are
he's neutral.
So that side is winning the whole thing.
I think so.
And it's interesting, though. I love the way that this is set up because you've got Private Party who would work face, and you have Lucha Brothers who probably work heel. And on the other side, you have SCU working face and Dark Order working heel. I mean, it could be really... The combination could be different. You know what I mean? Like, I could see Private Party, Dark Order would work really well. I could see SCU, Lucha Brothers working really well. SCU.
Yeah.
A lot of really well dressed and good looking attires in that next round there. And speaking of interesting and good looking attires, we're gonna throw it over to Jessica for our new segment called Reporting from the Runway.
Ooh, we got a little intro music. Yes. Oh, it's a party. Okay, guys. Well, I'm going to give you the best looks of the evening. I'm going to do male and female. So I'm going to start, of course, with my girl, Britt Baker.
Yes.
Red is just a power color. Oh, and that wasn't even intentional, but it is a power color.
Jessica.
Red eyeshadow, and of course the bedazzled neckline. Like it came in hot. I mean, she actually, in my opinion, made Rijo look a little bland and almost like Party City costumey.
Oh, that is so harsh.
Was that harsh? I love Rijo.
Okay, mister, they're yelling in your face.
You know what? It wasn't even so much her costume. What got me was the pink knee highs. The stitching was. It missed the mark for me. Sorry, Rijo. I mean, it doesn't matter because. Well, spoilers. I'm not even going to say it. Okay. It's fine. You know what I'm going to say. Moving on. My male choice, and this may be a hot take, this may be an unpopular opinion, but I chose Darby Allin. Not just because of his look, but also because of his entrance. I am really enjoying the skateboard. And I think he's really building a brand. Like, his music is tough. And he's got the nose ring, he's got like the black trench coat, and I really enjoyed the Champ, like paint, fake tattoo
Face
looking
paint.
thing.
Yeah.
And Champ on the skateboard. I'm all about the brand. We have the Dentist brand, we have the, Punk, I guess.
I'd say Punk.
Punk, yeah.
Punk, yeah.
I love the Champ body paint. I thought that was a cool addition onto his skull paint.
Does anyone disagree? Does anybody think Rijo was the stronger female? Does anybody have a male choice that they would have picked instead?
Britt Baker, I agree. I think her whole look, her swagger down to the ring. I love the Doctor is in intro.
Yes, that was fun. I forgot to mention that. That was good.
So yeah, I agree. I agree with Britt. I agree all around.
Yeah, same here.
I would say my second runner-up would be Chris Jericho.
Oh.
I really enjoyed his look, too. Although you guys had a problem with the shirt.
It was a street fight, so it's a little acceptable.
It's a little acceptable.
We'll let it slide this week.
Speaking of Chris Jericho, that leads us into the championship match, the Philadelphia Street Fight for the AEW Heavyweight Championship of the World. I'll be honest, this was a good match. It wasn't quite as street fight as I thought it was going to be. Roger, what did you think of it?
Yeah, you can't call something a Philadelphia street fight and then just take out a kendo stick. Like, I need more.
Yeah, it was more of a Philadelphia gaff tape fight. But it was fun. It told a good story. And obviously, Darby Allin came up a little bit short. I think that was something we all kind of expected. We all saw coming. But I thought Darby Allin came off strong. Jessica, Mr. Fashionista Darby Allin, what do you think is coming up next for him? Do you think he kind of settles back down a little bit lower on the card, or do you think is he a bona fide main eventer now?
He's just so young. The commentators are saying himself, like, he spent his whole life watching Chris Jericho matches, and now he's up against him himself. So, like, to already be in the place that he's in, I feel like he's in such a good spot to just progress and become a star, if that's what he wants.
Yeah.
You never know. He might go down the skateboard path. He might just ride off into the sunset and be like, see ya, wrestling.
Yeah. I thought
he seems unpredictable.
He does seem very unpredictable. I love him. I love that he was able to keep wrestling with his hands gaff taped together.
Yes.
Impressive.
And for anyone who's not used gaff tape, when you get gaff tape to stick to itself, you're done.
I can't even wrestle with both hands. Like that's
Well, when I saw him do that, I said, "Oh, well, it's done." And then Roger over here is like, "There's hope.
There's hope.
You have to have
There's
hope."
hope.
And he held on for quite a bit.
You know what it is? Darby reminds me of those. I was mentioning it earlier backstage. I feel like when I grew up, I saw the 1-2-3 Kid beat Razor Ramon on Raw. Like, I remember that happening live. And to me, that stayed with me forever. Because I was like, it could happen. The little guy can win.
He can do it.
He can do it. And ever since, I have hope.
Well, you know, I think that
Since that day.
that was
Lit a fire in my soul.
That is a bit of a legendary match, though. The 1-2-3 Kid, Scott Hall. Yeah, I'm gonna keep calling him Scott Hall. So obviously, Jake Hager comes in, makes the save. We get a big celebration with all the bubbly. We were talking about backstage. I love how they acted like this was the biggest match and the most overcome victory of the ever. Yes, they're shooting the champagne in the air. Jericho looks like he's about to cry. It was
he got choked up there.
Fantastic. I'm loving the Inner Circle more and more every day. I'm so glad I'm a part of it. Thank you for inviting me, Jericho. I would have been there today, but I had this show I got to do.
Yes, thing.
Priorities.
But that reminds me, obviously, we have Santana and Ortiz who had a match in our first enhancement talent match, it seemed.
First squash.
The first squash match of AEW. I thought they looked amazing. How'd you guys look in this match? Or how do you think they looked at this match?
Is it Ortiz, the guy that does a little? He lifted up his hands, kind of scaring the crowd. Like
he scratched the back, and then he went like.
Yeah, he bites the ropes. Like I'm not messing with that guy.
that's what stood out to me. Him like gnawing on the ropes.
I love.
They scary.
They're very they're scary. They're very intimidating. I can't wait till they get in matches with like legit tag team guys. I love what Jericho said in his promo. He was like, oh, they're pit bulls, and he said they'll pick your pocket and they'll kick your. Am I allowed to say it on TV? Am I allowed to say
it? The A word?
Yeah. I'm. You know what? It's my show. I'm gonna say it. You can't stop me. They're gonna pick your pocket and kick your. Assuming I say this.
All right.
Is there gonna be a problem? Wah, wah. So they make the challenge for the Young Bucks. How are we feeling about Ortiz, Santana, and Nick and Matt Jackson?
And the fact that I keep mentioning this over and over, they keep finding ways to give us great matches. Like, that didn't even cross my head that that's who they're going after. But of course that's who they're going after. Mm-hmm. They came out last week and they introduced themselves as the leading group of this organization. So of course they're going to go after the Young Bucks and they're going to make a statement. I'm excited for that.
It really fits what they're trying to do. I don't want to say taking over because they're not an NWO stable, but it does kind of go with that. Jericho's taking out Cody, then they go take out the Young Bucks and all the major players there. Lines are being drawn. Jessica, whose side are you on? Are you Inner Circle or are you on the loser side?
Well, I'm having a really good time like rooting against you, so... No, I don't know. I was talking about this. Like, Chris Jericho, obviously, there's something lovable about him. Like, there's something in you that even though he is, even the crowd, when he was trash talking, they were like, yeah. And he's like, shut up. Like, you're supposed to hate me.
Right.
So I'm trying to, like, I don't know. I'm really indifferent at the moment. Not indifferent, but I guess undecided. Let's say that. Undecided.
I think it's hard to root against them. I agree with you. I think when Jericho comes out and then they bring out the bubbly, I want to be a part of that.
I want to party with the inner circle.
Right. I want to be on the list. I want to be in the inner circle. Fortunately, it worked out for me.
You don't want to be against them. I mean, yeah. I don't know.
So you're thinking we need them to do some bad things to not like them, to shake off the cool factor.
They still have the bubbly, though.
The bubbly's so cool. The bubbly's so cool. It's so funny that really kicked off and became a big thing. Then, real quick, I want to make sure we touch on, because I'm looking at the clock here. We have an AEW Women's Championship match as well. Rijo versus Britt Baker, our reporting from the runway star tonight. Rijo gets the win. How did you guys feel about this one?
I was shocked. I didn't think she had it in her to go undefeated. And I like Rijo, but I do feel like I'm starting to see a lot of the same moves from her. I've seen the double stomp 3 weeks in a row now. Nothing wrong with the double stomp, but I'm kind of like, oh, there she goes.
But it's racking up wins, so.
I know.
So if it's working, you don't change a thing.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I did go into this really wanting Britt to win, but you can't deny the crowd. They love Rijo.
Her.
They do.
Yeah.
They are really behind Rijo, so I think it makes sense that she keeps it. Again, Britt, you're gonna get your chance. It's all good.
It's okay.
Yeah, you'll get there. But yeah, Rijo. The only thing that really bothers me about Rijo is her entrance music is so high tempo and fast, but she comes out so kind of like, hey, how's it going?
So happy.
Right. I feel like she needs to like bop around more. It's kind of she should be going because it's so high energy.
She's like in wrestling bliss. Even when the match ended, she's just like, yeah.
That was
It's good. They did the handshake at the end, and
I was expecting drama after that. It was actually just a handshake. It was like, okay.
I was expecting drama through the whole match with Priestley coming in some way, but there hasn't been every match has ended. I mean, there's been shenanigans, hijinks, and flim-flam, but we've gotten a real ending out of every match, which I think so far in AEW is pretty cool.
Yeah, someone mentioned in the comments that we haven't seen a disqualification yet.
Ooh.
No DQ so far, which is great.
Very interesting.
Or countouts or things like that, which I like in the tag team tournament. They keep saying a tie means you don't go on. I love that. I love that they say that. Like, there's a DQ or something means you don't move forward. And Britt's back next week in Britsburg, as they're calling it. I love me a good pun. And so that'll be good. But before we kind of continue or do anything more, I want to make sure we don't pass up what was another Kraken show, and that was AEW Dark. Roger, tell us all about it.
Yeah, AEW Dark every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Whoa.
Ooh, you got that dark music.
Yes.
It's dark.
Yes.
Every Tuesday at 5 p.m. on YouTube, you get to witness all the Dark matches. There were some matches that happened right as we went off the air right now. So it's great. You get to check out all the action that the live crowd gets to experience. The top match last week, if you got anywhere near any forum, any chat room this week, Bad Boy Joey Janela took on Kenny Omega in an unsanctioned fight.
Yeah,
it was unsanctioned, so
they call it a lights out match, I believe.
A lights out match.
Lights out.
Yeah.
There you go.
And the lights definitely went out. If you are a fan of, in the words of McFoley, tables, ladders, and chairs, you enjoyed this. Yes.
Tables, ladders, and chairs. Oh my.
There were a lot of Kenny Omega has amazing snap suplexes. We saw a lot of that in that match. We saw some insane moves. There was a move where Joey Janela landed on his back on the top of the chairs. I don't know if I've ever seen that. That's brutal. That's what that sounded like. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. The whole time they were building up for that, sorry to cut you off, I was thinking to myself, don't do it.
Yeah. And I will say, I think anyone that's a fan of AEW should definitely check out this match. I think this match is officially putting Kenny Omega back on track.
I agree, and I think Janela is going to be a star.
Definitely. I think they both elevated themselves. This match was very needed for both of them, and they both came out looking like superstars. So if you have time, you could do it anytime. You could go home right now and check it out.
Definitely worth a watch. What's also worth a watch is the news with Jessica O'Connor. Jessica O'Connor, take it away.
Ooh, yes. Well, guys, we have some couple drama, perhaps. Well, no, not really. It seems like Jon Moxley's being pretty supportive of his wife. So we have a quote from him when he was asked recently if she would potentially jump ship to the AEW, and he pretty much, danced around the question. He said she's got a lot on her plate, a lot of things she wants to do. She's in a really good spot. She's invaluable. She could do whatever she wants. I mean, look at this answer. He had a lot to say, but also nothing to say at all. You know what I mean? So this begs the question, I'm going to ask you guys, and I'm also going to ask you guys in the comments, if your significant other was working for your competitor, would you have a problem with that? Would you want them to join you? How do you think that would affect your relationship?
That's very interesting.
Roger, take it away.
My wife and I both work in the entertainment industry, and, we keep it separate. We don't want any controversy, no issues. So, I don't know. I think it's doable.
Yeah, I think when you're in a career like that, you always have to think about how you guys can individually be successful. But I know for me, it's about me. You come to my show. No, you got to be supportive of your significant other, I think, in all ways, shapes, and forms in that case.
I don't think I would be jealous of necessarily like her success, WWE versus AEW. I think what would get hard would be the conflicting road schedules. Like, when do they ever see each other?
That's got to be difficult,
Thursdays.
for sure.
Thursdays. That's tough, though. So
Thursdays
props
at 3
to them
p.m.
for being supportive and making it work, because that ain't easy.
No,
so let us know in the comments what you think, and what you would do if you were in Jon Moxley's shoes.
Yeah, would you want your significant other to leave their gig to join yours? Speaking of leaving gigs and joining yours, we have our final big segment of the evening, and that is your Elite
of the Week.
So we're going to make a little quick change. We got Elite of the Week. It's not going to be one person. We're going to do a power ranking. We're going to list the top 5 power ranking people in AEW. Start at number 1, the most powerful, because he's obviously number 1. We're going to start at number 1, Chris Jericho. He's winning matches. He's the champion. He's got the inner circle. Who can be topping him? He's your number 1 power of the week. Number 2, we're going to go ahead and put Jon Moxley. He took a loss today, but it was because he wanted to. He's been beating people up. He's always looked strong, and he's always built as a big player. Got to be number 2. After that, we're going to go ahead and put the Dark Order. We haven't seen them on TV on the Dynamite, but they've been winning on AEW Dark. They got a first-round bye in the tournament, and they have been undefeated. So we definitely got to look at them as big players. Number 4, we got Rijo. Rijo's been killing it week in and week out. She's been totally dominant. I don't know who's going to challenge her next because she's been defending against everybody. And then number 5, we've got Pac. Now, he took a loss today. Things didn't look that good for him, but he has looked unbeatable before today. And even today, it wasn't his fault. He got left alone. So those are the top 5 power rankings of the week. That was your
Elite of the Week.
I love it. So
there's Dark Order number 3 in the comments.
Yes, I love the drama.
So if you have a top 5, I'd love to see it in the comment section. Now, the chat's always hard to see later, so put it in the comments on YouTube so I can go ahead and check it out, or on iTunes, or send it to the AEW AfterBuzz Twitter or Instagram or Facebook page, and let me know what you think is your top 5. And with that said, we got to wrap up the show, you guys. Sorry, this is another week, another one in the can. So before we go, though, Roger, go ahead and tell all the lovely people where they can find you.
Alrighty, you can find me on Twitter, Roger_Corral, and you could look me up on the same thing on Instagram. You could also look up Be Supreme on Instagram.
Sounds good. And Jessica?
All right, I'm Jay O'Connor with 3 N's because 2 N's was taken on Twitter, and I'm Jessica O'Connor _ on Instagram. So let's chat. Yeah.
Josh, you want to tell them where you're at?
Sure, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JOAL323.
Oh.
Yep, and I am Jack Farmer. You can find me at jackcfarmer.com as well as at RealJackFarmer across all social media. I also do the WWE Raw After Show every single Monday night at 9 p.m. Pacific Time here on AfterBuzz. Make sure to check that out. And until next week, buzz you later.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.